think you're not a good joke writer, but you're a stand-up comic. That's an interesting dynamic.
Yes.
More storyteller, or you're saying you tell jokes that you just think aren't that good?
I think I'm a little more conversational than joke, like a joke,
right?
Like a setup and punchline,
right?
But yeah, I'd rather just do it on stage.
You were doing stand-up before the podcast?
Yes.
And because I feel like that what you're describing is like you're suited for a podcast.
That's how that's how I get most of my material.
Right.
Like actually, it's funny too because I remember I used to listen to Bill Burr's podcast, and then I would watch his stand-up and be like,
"Oh, I remember when he said that."
I remember it's the same thing.
Yeah. I one time I kind of said that to him once because we went. Yeah, not good. I meant it in the kind of like I meant it in making fun of me and Feidelberg. So he came on our show once, and he kind of was talking about whatever it was, and then we went to his show like that night, and I was like, dude, like he got that idea from us and then like did it on stage. So I brought that up, and he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Shut the fuck up. No, I don't do that. And I was like, oh yeah, wait a minute, that was probably disrespectful. Never mind.
Get that from you, stupid.
Yes. Yeah. And I was like, oh yeah, wait, fuck, this is probably something he would not admit to. So I was like, oh shit, he still scares the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Like we've and he says to us like, well, because we usually have guests come through, we give them shirts and swag and all that shit, and he's like, you guys don't need to give me things, I like you guys, like I don't need this fucking bag of shit. And I'm always like, okay, I'm sorry, everything is still like, oh okay, do you? And he's like, I like you guys, we're good. And I'm like, do you though? Because you're so scary still.
Yeah, it sounds like we're not. If you're like, we're fine.
I was like, what? Yeah. I fucking like you, pussy. I'm like, okay. Yeah, there's a handful of people, but he's at the top of the list that just make you feel like a pussy.
Dave Attell's one.
Yeah, I don't know. We've never. Does he do like podcasts and shit? Does he? Because I could see him being like, podcasts are stupid. I don't want to do that shit.
He would like come in and sit down when we were doing Legion of Skanks, and he did one. And the clip is very. I mean, I think I'm the only one that got affected by it, but like I said something and no one laughed, and he like looked at me and was like, oh. I was like,
oh my god, I'm gonna kill myself.
Literally on the podcast I was like, are we like I looked around
you're doing that?
I was next to like Jay and Soder, and I was like, did you see Attell? Like, am I getting fight Attell?
That's tough. And because he's that guy, I mean, every comic I've ever had on, who's like the one comic you like? Dave Attell. Who's the guy you look up to? Dave Attell. Yes. So when he is clowning you, it's like, oh fuck.
He's nice. He is nice. Yeah. But he's got me a couple times where like, because we don't know each other. He doesn't know me that well. And there was one of the coolest moments I had. Early when I moved to New York, I was at the Cellar. I was sitting at like the table, which was crazy.
Right.
And I was sitting there with Michelle Wolf, and we were talking, we were having fun, and then Chris Rock came in, and like I could hear him behind me, and I was like, holy shit, it's Chris Rock.
Yeah.
And he sat right next to me. And then I made like a Sandy Hook joke that made him laugh.
Oh, okay.
And he laughed. And I was just like, I'm out of here.
Yeah, Costanza that shit. I'm out on top.
I just made him laugh. I walked outside. Attell was standing outside. I was like, can I get a cigarette? And he was like, no. And he walked inside.
it's like it took you right back down.
I was like, what am I doing?
That's pretty bold. That's a bold move.
Yeah, it was. It was a mistake.
But you were riding high. You had that euphoria.
Just made Chris Rock laugh.
A Sandy Hook joke is that's dicey. That's going one way or the other.
Yeah, it was something about, I forget exactly. It was something where I was like, we were talking about the moon landing. I was like, it's a lot of people think it's a hook, just like Sandy Hook.
Yeah.
Sandy Hook was a hook. Yeah.
Jesus Christ, man.